love your performance. Some don't like the film as much as they love your performance.
Well, it hasn't really been fully reviewed yet, so let's hope
that wiser people will appreciate
it, because it is I think it's a truthful film.
And a woman you liked.
Oh yes, I didn't know her, but she was quite incredible, and what she did, of course, was extraordinary. But I wish she was alive to see this happen and be around.
She died when in the process?
After the Klimt, she got the Klimt back.
She got it back.
Yes, but only about 3 or 4 years.
She was about 94.
Yes, she was older than me when this whole thing happened. Yeah. She was in her 80s. Yes. I think they were longing for her to die, so they wouldn't have to give it back, as we kind of say in the film. But it was an incredible journey for an older woman.
It's a story of justice.
It's a story of justice, of memory.
Of memory.
Yes, and above all, justice, and reclaiming your memory, your life from the people who took it away so unbelievably brutally.
Your co-star Ryan Reynolds says that it's a love story.
It's that as well,
yeah.
Yes, but there's a strange relationship between Randy Schoenberg and the lawyer and Maria Altman, two LA, people who come together and he rediscovers his roots, which I think, I have a line in the film, which actually I wrote.
You wrote a line?
Yes, you do. I mean, some of that stuff in the trailer I improvised. But anyway, it was a wonderful script. But I wanted the line because people forget, especially the young. And of course they do. Why should they remember? But they have to be, you have to remember. And we've all sat, I'm sure, and listened, not us all, but of my generation, you sat and listened to your parents going on about the Second World War, and you went, oh, God, do I have to hear all this again? But then the reality of it begins to hit home as you get older and more knowledgeable, wiser. And then you think, oh my God, what an incredible generation, and what incredible suffering, what an amazing achievement to get through that and come out the other side.
How did you go about preparing for it?
I watched Maria Altman, but more than that, because I just, I couldn't really look like her. She had a very noble face. I'm a Slavic peasant, really, by comparison. But she had this wonderfully, truly aristocratic-looking face. And I could, do the accent and brown lenses, wear the hair, but I couldn't get inside that mind and those memories. So I had to just remember that story again. So most of my work was in reading Holocaust material again, looking at documentary again, and just reminding myself of that particular unbelievably brutal.
I remember a movie you made in which a woman was in search of some Nazi killer.
That was The Debt.
The Debt,
yes.
Exactly.
Yes. Again, same research in a way, same memories, having to remind yourself. It always pays to go back and remind yourself. Your
father was the son of immigrants?
Yes. In fact, my father was an immigrant. He came to England when he was 2. He was born in Russia, yeah.
Did that play a role?
I don't think so, because honestly, it was different. I mean, of course,
But it's coming to a new place where you know no one and all that.
Yes, and my grandfather especially. My grandfather, became a taxi driver. And that sense of history coming and just wiping your whole family, a certain side of your family, history, gone, And my father embraced that and really said, no, you assimilate, you live in the present, you go forward, and that was very much his attitude.
Thank you to Charlie Rose and his guest, Dame Helen Mirren. A reminder, you can watch Charlie Rose on Bloomberg Television weeknights at 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. on Dish Network Channel 203. We're glad you're spending your Sunday morning at our brunch with Charlie Rose on Bloomberg Radio.
You're listening to Bloomberg Radio. A complete national news update is coming up at the top of the hour. That's less than 2 minutes away. Right now, it's time for a weekend business report.
branded like Beckham. Mrs., that is. From Bloomberg World Headquarters in New York, I'm Greg Jarrett.
Would you like to connect to the light within you? Join Spiritually Speaking with Sarah every Wednesday evening right here on 1230 WBZT. For 2 hours each week, Sarah will discuss diverse topics for your spiritual empowerment and growth. Listen and call in and let Spirit guide you on your journey. Or email your questions ahead to radio@sarahspiritual.com. Step into the light with Sarah. Embrace transformation and tranquility. Wednesday evening at 7. Spiritually Speaking with Sarah on 1230 WBZT and iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio, on the road with The Who. Pete Townsend.
Celebration of when people gather together to be in the company of a band and their music. This will be a grandfather who brings his son and their children.
The Who Hits 50 Tour. Special guest Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. $1 from each ticket sold benefits Teen Cancer America. Get them at AXS.com. Get all things Who at TheWho.com. And make your own custom Who station on our iHeartRadio app or listen at iHeartRadio.com.
News, traffic, weather. Every 10 minutes from 6 a.m. until 3 p.m. 1230 WBCT.
West Palm Beach.
Weather every 10 minutes on 1230 WBCT.
We'll have some summer-like heat again today. Highs will be near 90 degrees in many spots. We'll also have a hazy sunshine and a slight chance for afternoon showers. Patchy fog will then develop overnight, and morning lows will be near 70 degrees. Monday afternoon, our highs will be slightly cooler, around 84 degrees. We'll see a mixture of sun and clouds with isolated showers and thunderstorms. I'm Storm Team 5 meteorologist Tyler Malden for 1230 WBZT.
This report is brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life.
While many rose up with violence, he sat down for peace. Mahatma Gandhi reached out with the strength he cultivated within his soul. So, pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
Local news every 10 minutes from 6 a.m. until 3 p.m. on 1230 WBZT.
The following views are those of the host and not those of Clear Channel Broadcasting licenses.
Hi, it's Leah, here to tell you about Dr. Anthony Pannozzo. He's a pain specialist located in southern Palm Beach County, so if you are somebody that you know is suffering in pain, Dr. Pannozzo is the one you guys need to call. And make that call today, because living in pain is no way to go through life. Dr. Pannozzo has been in practice now for more than 49 years. He's treated more than 73,000 patients for pain. He's an expert when it comes to diagnosing the pain, and he has had huge turnarounds. In fact, people living with scoliosis, he has had nearly a 100% turnaround. Lumbar pain as well. If you've got lower back pain, if you're suffering with migraines or flat feet pain, maybe pain in your elbows, your neck, your shoulders, Dr. Pannozzo can help you. And the greatest thing is he can help you without drugs, without surgery, and without having to go through weeks and months of rehabilitation. Give him a call today. Set up an appointment. It's 561-381-5800. Tune into his show Sundays, 11 to noon. And now, here's this week's edition of the Dr. Pannozzo Sports and Medicine Hour.
Good morning, everybody. It's Sunday, and you know what Sunday means. It's time for the Dr. Pannozzo Show. Today, Dr. Pannozzo is with his son in Arizona, Freddie. Arizona, where it's nice. He's on a little vacation, but he feels that it's important for him to talk to you guys. So, Dr. Pannozzo, I don't know if you're on the air yet, but I want to say we're here, we're ready. And I'm waiting for my buddy Freddie to press the right button. Right now we have a whole crew here. We have Freddie Santori.
Well, why don't you tell the audience how they can see us and hear us and all that good stuff?
They could go to Pannozzo.tv and they could actually see us live as we're doing the show. Or they can go to am2.tv and let us know what's going on. So I think we have Dr. Pannozzo on the air right now, right, Colleen? So do I press something?
You gotta press something.
I'll press number 1. Hi, Dr. Pannozzo. Hello?
It's the world-famous Dr. Pannozzo there.
Dr. Pannozzo, how are you? Well, we're having a little difficulty here. We have him on the line, but we're trying to get him to pick up the phone, or one of them.
Oh, we lost him. Oh,
Dr. Pannozzo. Okay, we'll start again. Well, while we're waiting for this to happen, this is something we've never done before, where we're doing our show with Dr. Pannozzo, and him and his son Paul are out in Arizona. Both of them are specialists in musculoskeletal problems, something that Freddie over here has suffered from, and something that I've suffered from, and some that the lovely Leah has suffered from. So in case anyone wants to call up after we get in touch with Dr. Pannozzo, the hotline is 800-889-0267. And please, we apologize for some of the delays we're having. It's being broadcast here as well as in Arizona and actually all over the country, right, Freddie?
That's correct. And you can see Dr. Pannozzo's show today on Pannozzo.tv. You can go to his website, which, Les, you have?
His website is National Pain Centers.
That's right. You can go on there. And you can see his commercial all over the place. Television. Where is he playing, Les?
Well, Dr. Pannozzo's on ESPN. He's on TNT. He's on all of the stockbroker channels. He could be seen and heard almost everywhere. And one of the things that's great about Dr. Pannozzo is he specializes in something that nobody specializes in. He can get you into his office with any type of pain that you have, and he'll be able to not only fix that pain, but tell you that it's not going to come back again. Where have you heard that?
That's right. You know, Les, it's funny. I went to, Linda made me go to the doctor yesterday.
What?
Yeah, we had to go to the doctor. We had to get our pills.
Oh.
My diabetes medicine.
Right, okay. Well, he can't fix that yet.
He can't, not yet. But I decided to have some fun with the doctors that were in there. And we started talking about pain in the hip and everything else.
Oh, we got Pannozzo on my phone, but Freddie, I'm going to let you talk to Dr. Pannozzo. We could straighten this out. So
yes, sir.
One of the things we're trying to do right now, folks, and please bear with us, is this is something that we've never done. Sir. And we're trying to have Dr. Pannozzo answer everyone's questions. And we have a whole list of questions that could be answered today. But now, in case by any chance...
She's calling you. She's calling you. Hang up. Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to get this thing done. Okay.
Let's call him.
Okay, we're going to call up Dr. Pannozzo now. So, Freddie, tell me what happened.
So I go to the doctor, and I start talking about how my knee hurts. And he starts talking about anti-inflammatories and pain and everything else in my knee. And I said to him, you know, my problem isn't in my knee, it's on my hip. And he said to me, that's absolutely incredible and impossible that that's happening.
Right.
So I decided to have a little fun.
Okay.
And I said to him, well, let me tell you how, and I showed him my lift and everything else. He says to me, I've never heard of that. Now, this is a medical doctor.
Yeah, of course. It's something that no one hears about.
And I said, I know, Dr. Pannozzo. He said, what's his name? Dr. what? I said, Pannozzo. He said that you wouldn't know because this is not what you're trained in.
Right. It's exactly true.
Well, he didn't want to seem stupid. So he says, well, we do get trained, but it's not our specialty.
Right.
Meanwhile, he's treating my knee when the pain isn't in, it's a pain, but it's not where the problem is.
Well, that's what Leah had. You know, Leah who's on ZZR and does the commercials with Dr. Pannozzo because she really wanted to find out what he does. And she came in with a ankle problem, and she said before she goes to the podiatrist and puts on a boot,
right?
She should see Dr. Pannozzo. Well, like you said, it wasn't her ankle. And he saw that by her walking up and down. He discovered that what it really was something in her back. Gave her a shot, and she looked like mystified. And oh, gosh, Dr. Pannozzo, this is amazing. How did you know? He said, because what Dr. Pannozzo does, he's a musculoskeletal doctor who specializes in that one thing. He doesn't do surgery, doesn't give you pills, and the best thing, he doesn't do rehab.
That's right.
So that's an amazing thing. So, folks, if what we're talking to you now is just letting you know for some of our new listeners.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Les, my bill would have been over $400.
Sure.
For something that he was in the wrong area.
And you might have still had the problem when you left.
Of course I'm going to have the problem. He's treating the knee when it's not in the knee.
That gets a bell right there for treating a problem.
It's not in the knee. So I said to him, you're going to charge me $400, but you're in the wrong area.
But people don't understand that. I mean, the crazy thing about this is, like I always give a word of the day, today's word is choice. You have the choice to be in pain, or you have the choice to be corrected. I had that problem. It's very hard for anyone to believe this until you actually go and have it done yourself. I mean, you can see people walking out saying, oh, my God, I'm cured, I feel great. But you don't know that until you get it. I mean, look at you. I mean, you carry a lot of equipment. You know, you're the owner of Amp2.tv, and you're always traveling with all this heavy equipment on your back. Now you can do it. I mean, that's something for you.
It is. It changed my life.
Yeah,
Let me continue to work. I mean, there are people that go to see Pannozzo and they can't work. They can't do what they want. Jimmy, the board up in CCR.
Hello there. Is this Dr. Pannozzo?
Yeah, but listen, she's got me on the cell phone. She has to go on the long line.
She doesn't have you on the cell phone. She's got you on the air, sir. We're on the air now, and we hear you fine.
We hear you loud and clear.
All right, but I'm on my cell phone. I need to be on the office phone.
Okay. So how is beautiful Arizona where we have you on the phone?
All right. Go ahead.
How is beautiful Arizona?
Beautiful Arizona is just gorgeous. You got to see it for yourself.
I know you snuck out on us.
Well, I have to come out and see my son. We have to compare notes on the work we're doing, and this is how we do our research together.
No, I understand. I was just telling
the results we get, which are the best in the world.
Well, let me ask you a question. Are you working on anything new right now, Dr. Pannozzo?
What's that?
Are you working with your son on anything new, any kind of different technique?
Yeah, we're working on derotating the bone structure in the vertebra, and this is how you get to be normal. And I work with some insurance companies already, like Medicare and so forth. They kind of get the idea. As long as your bones are twisted, you're not going to bear weight properly, and you're going to be the ligament structure is going to be bearing weight, and they cannot do it. They are very, very painful.
Wow.
So what we're doing now is derotating the bone structure, and then they're normal alignment, and then you could do anything because that's the way it's designed to work. You have to go back to the fundamentals. You know, the fundamentals are what's the design, what is it supposed to do, how does it work, what goes bad on it, and then you correct that.
I mean, that's still amazing, Doc. It's still the most amazing thing people have ever heard.
It is. I think it's amazing every time I watch it. I show it to people. I said, "You're never going to see this again. Look at this," and it's amazing to me. But it is good. It is the best you can get, and that's why we can say we can treat any back thing.
Well, the funny thing is, I was out trying to work with the board up to get something done. You sound actually better today than you have. The sound quality is fantastic. I'm amazed that we could do it. We've got a whole bunch of questions to ask you. You want me to start asking them now?
Yeah, but I'm gonna be running out of a battery, so you're gonna have to call me back on the office phone here.
Okay.
I gave that number already.
Well, give it to me so I can make sure.
623-776-8686.
Okay, I'm gonna have a 8686. Okay, we're gonna go to a break, Colleen, and then we're gonna call.
Then we have a Skype lined up too, if you can get it.
Okay. Well, let's do this. I'm gonna go on break, and give you a chance to get everything done, and then if you want, we could talk to Freddie. Colleen, we're going on break right now, and we'll be back with Dr. Pannozzo.
Hi, it's Leah, here to tell you about Dr. Anthony Pannozzo. He's a pain specialist located in southern Palm Beach County. So if you or somebody that you know is suffering in pain, Dr. Pannozzo is the one you guys need to call. And make that call today because living in pain is no way to go through life. Dr. Pannozzo has been in practice now for more than 49 years. He's treated more than 73,000 patients for pain. He's an expert when it comes to diagnosing the pain, and he has had huge turnarounds. In fact, people living with scoliosis, he has had nearly a 100% turnaround. Lumbar pain as well. If you've got lower back pain, if you're suffering with migraines or flat feet pain, maybe pain in your elbows, your neck, your shoulders, Dr. Pannozzo can help you. And the greatest thing is he can help you without drugs, without surgery, and without having to go through weeks and months of rehabilitation. Give him a call today. Set up an appointment. It's 561-381-5800. Tune into his show Sundays, 11 to noon.
You're listening to Dr. Pannozzo's Sports and Medicine Hour with Dr. Anthony Pannozzo. If you have constant pain and want to talk about how to get rid of it without surgery or medication, or simply want a second opinion, call Dr. Pannozzo now at 1-877-927-6969 to get your pain issues resolved. And now, more of Dr. Pannozzo's Sports and Medicine Hour.
Hey everybody, I'm here with Dr. Pannozzo. You here, buddy? Hi, Doc. Hello? Okay, he's not on yet, so we're going to do... Okay, so Freddie, I think this is going to be the last time we do this, right?
No. It just got to get it done right. That's all.
Well, thank God Dr. Pannozzo could get what he does to help people write. I mean,
That's right. Don't put him in the phone business.
Don't put him... And say with me, we're not computer. You're the only computer guy here, except for Colleen, who's sitting there going breathlessly waiting to get to Dr. Pannozzo.
I gave Dr. Pannozzo the phone number 14 times.
Okay.
And he says I gave the wrong number.
Okay. Well, he's more concerned in helping people. So going back, you were telling me that story. I mean, that's amazing.
It is, and I was just about to tell him the story, and he says that he's working on a new procedure with his son, rotation.
Oh, wow.
Of the spinal cord.
Wow.
So the bottom line here is what they're doing is that what they do well, they're perfecting it to do it better, because now there's scoliosis, that they can move that spinal cord right back into position.
Right.
He's probably thinking about different things where the rotation is very important.
Well, you know the beauty of this, Freddie? You got Dr. Pannozzo, who's been doing this for over 45 years with 99% accuracy and cure. And then he's got his son, who's learning all the different and new methods. And together they talk every single day, at least, actually once or twice a day, going over the different procedures that each one is doing. So, I mean, that's amazing. So you got the young and you got the seasoned. I don't want to use the word old because that's why I am seasoned. And together they're all working on something. What does that little blinking light mean?
See, I don't know. So you got to read here.
Okay, we don't...
No, not yet. It doesn't mean nothing.
Okay.
But I'm going to tell you, I can appreciate what he's saying because my 19-year-old son is the one that developed AMP. And every day he's in the lab perfecting what we do.
Oh.
And he's made the cameras smaller. We don't take up any room. You don't even know we're in the room.
That's amazing.
Now we can do it where the equipment is in the room and you'll never see us.
Is this Dr. Pannozzo?
This is him.
Hey, everybody. A bell for Dr. Pannozzo. Freddie wants to tell you a story. We were talking about it on the air, but we were waiting for you to get back. Tell Doc the story and let him answer the question about this.
Doc, I went down to see a doctor yesterday to get my diabetes, metformin meds and things of that nature. So I go in and I said to him that I had a pain in my left knee. And he says, well, let me look at the left knee. And he's going about, he's telling me all this stuff that's wrong with my left knee. And I said to him, listen, I know Dr. Pannozzo, and he talked to me, and it has nothing to do with my left knee. It's my hip. And he looked at me, he says, are you serious? I go, yeah. He says, are you drunk? I says, no, I'm not drunk. Telling you the truth. And I explained to him what you do. And he looked at me, he says, well, we weren't trained that way. I said, Dr. Pannozzo said that. He said, what's the guy's name? I said, Pannozzo. He just walked out the room. Never heard from him again.
Because, Doc, we always explain to people what it is that you do. You're I guess, a professor of what you do. I mean, you do something that nobody else does. Am I correct?
Well, that's exactly true.
Right.
But we do basic medicine. There's nothing extra than what we do. It's basic stuff right out of the book, right out of the physics manual, right out of the physiology and anatomy book. There's nothing special to what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Trouble is, the medical schools do not train us in this problem. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They tell you to refer everybody to the physical therapy or the orthopedic surgeon. They don't train the physicians in how to treat musculoskeletal problems in medical school. So when you graduate, you don't know anything, like this guy was just telling you.
Right.
He never heard of such a thing. Of course not. He didn't hear of anything. That's why he doesn't know what to do with you.
Isn't that a disservice to people?
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
I know. I could tell you get mad when you hear that. I mean, to me, one of the questions that somebody wrote in that says, "Why does an MRI not work?" I know why it doesn't work. Tell these new listeners that we have 100 questions here today. Why it doesn't work?
The MRI is okay for certain things.
Right.
Now, if you're looking for a tumor, fine.
Mm-hmm.
It'll show it.
Right.
If you're looking for an anatomical object, you can see it there.
Right.
But what if you're talking about physiology of pain production? You can't see that on there. You can't tell which segment is really painful. Mm-hmm. They'll read everything. That's why that's the weakness.
Okay.
It's read by a person who never examines the patient. You have to examine someone to find out where they're hurting. You can't do that on an X-ray. It's impossible. It's absolutely impossible because you have to move the knee to find out where it hurts you. Now, how are you going to do that on an MRI?
You can't.
You can't do it. It doesn't make any sense. You understand? When your doctor would talk to me for 5 minutes, I would convince him that we're right and he should do what we do and treat more people that way. But he's not going to do it because he's never been trained that way. They come out of school ignorant. Now, I went to school 30 years before my son went to school. So I asked him, well, what do you learn about the knee and the shoulder and the orthopedic problems in school? He said, nothing. I said, exactly.
Wow.
30 years later, you still learn nothing. I didn't learn anything.
Wow.
So what we had to do is go back to the anatomy, go back to the physics problems of weight bearing to find out how the thing works. And now we know how it works. That's why we get excellent results.
Well, you
and, results we get, I mean, these are true things. I mean, I don't want anybody to assume that we're just hyping it. We are hyping nothing. What we say is absolutely true.
Well, if people do not believe this, they could go to Pannozzo.tv. We're streaming live right now, like we always do on Sunday, and you could see what he's done with people with migraines. You could see what he's done with people with scoliosis. I know we talk scoliosis like it's crazy, but scoliosis is becoming very big right now that people are suffering from, and you've actually discovered where that scoliosis comes from, as well as how to cure it. You heard what I said, Freddie? Cure it. Not just fix it, cure it. Right?
Yes, we are curing scoliosis.
Amazing,
without
right?
question.
Yeah.
Without question. You could see it on the screen. You could see it in your body. I mean, you could see it working right in front of your eyes. It works just this way.
So we have
right up where the scar tissue that is holding the curvature, and we inject that with an anti-inflammatory.
Right.
And right away it releases that scar tissue, and the curve decreases right in front of your eyes, and it takes 2 minutes to do it. I mean, this is true, people. I mean, this is like, where's this guy coming from? I'm from Del Rey.
Very funny.
I'm going to tell you something that what you're hearing is absolutely true. Anytime you want to walk in,
anytime,
and see it, you can see it.
Well, we give everybody that's listening on the two stations what we call the challenge.
That's right.
If you could come in and see Dr. Pannozzo, and he cannot cure you of the pain, let me preface this, that you came in with, I will take you, your spouse, or significant other to any steakhouse you want. That's how sure. Because
Les, you're not going to go broke doing that.
Dr. Pannozzo, I was taught by a guy many years ago, don't bet on anything you're not going to win. And this is a bet I'm going to win. So
That's
if anyone,
exactly right.
And not only will we show you X-rays of people that have gone through this, we'll even show you your X-rays when you're done. And not only that is you walk out of there with absolutely no pain. So our other word for today, Dr. Pannozzo, is choice. You have the choice to be in pain, or you have the choice not to be in pain. You have the choice to go for surgery, take drugs and therapy, or you have the choice to go in and see Dr. Pannozzo and walk out with no more pain.
Let me talk about this Joe DiMaggio Hospital. They're still going to do that surgery there?
Yep. And they showed what it is with the rods. In fact, if they go to your website...
Well, this is cruelty to humans. You've heard of cruelty to animals.
Yeah, it is.
Well, again, they're not the only ones doing it, Doc.
They don't have to do it. I mean, if they just talk to me, I'll help them set up the program there.
Yeah.
Well, it's an amazing thing because...
So that they can do most of the work without any surgery, and maybe do a little bit of recommended surgery instead of just doing wholesale on all these little kids. I mean, it's just a tragedy.
So you're willing to go into these hospitals and show them what to do. Now, folks, we just want to let everyone know this is not a selling show. We're not here to tell you to come see Dr. Pannozzo. He is very busy to begin with. We're telling you information that might help your child who's 15 years old and suffers from scoliosis. Right?
You don't want to have rods and screws and everything else that they put in there. That thing looks painful just to look at.
In fact, you have it on the Pannozzo.tv.
It's on there. It's on their website. Yeah. The pictures, the commercials I see. And they illustrate those rods and screws. That thing's got to hurt.
And it doesn't give you any motion.
They absolutely do hurt. Yeah. They hurt forever.
That's so sad. And you've worked on young children.
You see, the basic thing is that they're trying to tell you is that we can put the rods in there to prevent your scoliosis from getting worse.
Right.
I'm saying that's stupid thinking. Why don't you make it better the way it is?
Yeah.
Improve it the way it is, not prevent it from getting worse. That's a negative connotation.
Exactly right.
You never want to think negatively when you're talking about a human being. You always want to think positively. And they're doing a negative thing. I do a positive thing. I reduce the curve without any rods and things.
And I think when people are listening to the show, they're trying to understand how could you do this. And I guess, I mean, we know it.
Or what's the amount of time that it takes to do this?
Well, what's the amount of time?
It's pretty simple, guys. I mean, if you know how to do it, look, going to the moon is simple if you know how to do it.
That's very true.
I happen to know nothing about that, but I do know how to reduce a scoliotic curve.
Wow.
Give me a chance to do it. What does it cost you? It costs you very little.
Here's what I'm trying
to... It either works or it doesn't. If it doesn't work, you can always go get the rods. Go ahead and get it. Who cares?
Right.
But if you want to do the best thing you can for your mother, your father, your child, yourself, I'm offering it to you.
Here's what I don't understand, Dr. Pannozzo. You're offering...
It doesn't cost a lot either.
Well, I don't think really, I mean, it's going to cost a heck of a lot more money to go get those rods in and a heck of a lot of time rehabbing yourself and a heck of a lot of time with medication. I would say this to anyone. Why not just go and see you? Forget everything else. I mean, you're an honest guy. If you can't cure them, I've heard you say to someone, that's something that I'm not an expert in. But I know as a fact, as sure as I'm sitting here, that you are the expert in scoliosis and in migraine headaches and everything else. And people that say you can't be cured from migraines are blown in the wind. They really are.
Well, we're not an expert in everything. It's just musculoskeletal.
Yeah, that's what I said, just musculoskeletal. I mean, if you come with a migraine...
I would like a challenge. I would like the doctor to come to me and say, show me how you do this. I would gladly show it to him. Listen, I can't treat 6 billion people in the world, you know.
No, I know.
But I need help doing this, and I want people to know about it. And the scoliosis, I'm giving it away for free. I'll tell you all the secrets there is.
Now,
you can do it in your own place.
Is that amazing? Freddie, here's a doctor that's telling you he'll teach other doctors how to do this because he's more concerned in helping people.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah, because that's a real person who cares about what he does.
Well, you know, Linda has a cousin that has the rods and hooks in her back. And I see her. She's in Pennsylvania. She comes down. And she looks like Skeletor the way she walks.
Yeah, because
she's stiff like a board. You know, the lady from England, she was touching her toes.
And that's a story, folks. If you want to see this, go to Pannozzo.tv and you're going to see something that's going to blow you away.
It's all there. We don't hide it. It's all there.
The advertising they do showing you how much activity you have with the rods in is not absolutely true.
No. I never saw anybody have any activity, Doc.
You can only tell by a standardized exam that we do. We do a standardized exam. We show you every curve you have and what you're able to do. And putting rods in is not going to improve that.
And you know,
I don't care what they say, it's just not true. Prove it to me. I'm the expert. Prove it to me. They can't do it because they don't do a history or clinical exam that brings out the deficiencies.
Well,
and so
you're
that's
right.
what you need to do. And they'll tell you different. I mean, some guy in a white coat's going to tell you, oh, we do the greatest job there is, but that is not true. Rods are not the greatest job. It's a defeat.
I got a question for Dr. Pannozzo. Sure. Those rods are stiff, correct?
Yeah, you can't play golf anymore, I guess.
You can't even bend over to tie your shoes.
No.
No, you can't bend them very much. No, they're not. Well, if you could bend them, that defeats the purpose, right?
Well, Linda says that they're flexible because her cousin has them. I see her wear shoes, huh?
Oh, go ahead.
She does yoga, but my question, that's flexibility, but my question is, when those rods go in the commercial, they show the kid walking down the hall.
He goes
and
like
he had an IV bag, and he wasn't bending over or anything. He was straight as a board. I understand that. After the surgery, you're probably stiff. But my question is, what kind of flexibility are you going to have after you have the surgery? Can you play golf?
No, because Journal of American Medical Association said that when the rods are put in, there's a lot of pain, and it's not going to cure the scoliosis. And people that play sports like golf or tennis cannot move around the court. Because it's so stiff.
No, you lose all your flexibility to do all those sports.
Yeah.
There's no way you can do anything. You can't even sit up in bed. I mean, let alone play a sport. I mean, and it's oversold. There is I know they got a big grant at this hospital for this, but
yeah,
this is not to be done. Let's do something else.
Let's try something else.
Well,
we have the answer. Just ask me. I'll be glad to show it to them.
Well, the beauty of it is that you're nowhere near what they charge to operate on scoliosis. Nowhere near it. I mean, my God. I mean, as a golfer, I would hope for someone to say to me, well, you can't play golf anymore.
Well, maybe that's the problem, Les. Dr. Pannozzo should charge what they charge to do the operation, then everybody would believe it.
Yeah, they can't believe that they could cure scoliosis with them. I mean, this lady went from, like you said, touching her toes, I mean, before your very eyes. And you know what? When people have scoliosis, they don't take care of themselves, Doc. They feel, why should I put on makeup? Why should I dress? I got a hump in my back, and I can't do anything. I mean, that's
what happened with her. I couldn't even see her face. I saw the top of her head when we first started.
I know.
Well, we're treating people with scoliosis right now, and the teenagers are treated 1 or 2 days. That's it.
I know.
Their curvature leaves. I mean, you can't. I mean, people say, "Well, Pannozzo's been smoking weed." No, I don't smoke weed or anything else.
The wacky weed man.
Well, if you have some, could you bring it back from us?
Mr. Wacky Weed. Yeah. Arizona's not
there's a big doubt when somebody makes a claim like that.
Sure.
But I'm saying don't doubt. Just come in and try it.
And
if you don't have any money, I'll do it for free. I just want to show it to you so that you don't run into these rod business.
Now, folks, you just heard what the doctor said.
But you got to come on the air and show us your body.
Right. Here's the thing.
Medicine has been very good to me, and I'm smart, and I make a big success of what I do.
Because you have a cure rate.
I can give information away. It's not going to hurt me.
Now,
I can show other doctors how to do things. It's not going to hurt me at all.
I think it's commendable.
I'm offering it. It's wide open. Anybody who listens to this radio station could hear it.
Yeah.
877-927-6969. You got scoliosis? No?
No. It's 800.
Oh, the 800.
889-0267. That's 800-889-0267, the hotline. Oh. Now, if you want, and I would suggest this, and you want to make an appointment when Dr. Pannozzo comes back, it's 561-381-5800. You could call him after 12, and he'll be more than happy to tell you when you can come in. I mean, it's amazing. You answer your phones and you book a person, but nowhere in my life have I ever heard a doctor say, come on in, and I'll treat you for free if you can't afford it.
Yeah. 800-889-0267. We want to hear from you. Let us set up the appointment right here.
Yeah, we'll set it up right here. We don't care.
Why not?
Doc?
Well, our philosophy in treatment of pain syndromes, that means anything: headache, arm pain, shoulder, knee. It's a syndrome. And what we mean by that is we're in bed with you. We have to work together with the patient, 1-to-1, to get that pain out of there. Otherwise, you have a chaos. You have a chaotic situation. If I don't talk to you and I send you for therapy, what happened? There's a disconnect.
Right.
You're not going to do well.
Right.
If I send you to an MRI, there's a disconnect. You're not doing well because no one knows what we're talking about.
Correct.
The truth is actually in the patient. It's how they, what their demeanor is, how they act, and what their complaint is, and what makes the complaint worse. It's a very good history you need to take, and then the clinical exam is unique to us. I mean, I don't know anybody that does it. And I ask all the time, did anybody examine you the way I do? And the answer is no.
No.
But you have to be able to get the problem to surface itself so you can treat it. And the only way you do that is a trust of the patient. That's why we talk to the patient all the time. We do all the work. We have no technicians anywhere.
Well, that's what I admire about you. When you walk in, when someone walks in right off the street or made the appointment with you, you are the man that they talk to. You do the X-ray. You make sure that you know exactly what's happening from your feel and touch. I mean, you did that with me. You found my problem within, I guess, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, maybe a minute.
Yeah, but you're an easy problem to find.
All right, good.
You're an easy problem.
Of course, I couldn't walk.
You couldn't walk.
Very easy.
It was either that or hemorrhoids.
Well, I don't know what it was, but all I know is I walked out with no pain. And what happened is, I always want, with this challenge, folks, again, I'm only going to, the pain you came in with, he is good. Don't come back next week and say, well, I have a pain in another part of my body. If he didn't fix that, that's not how it works.
That's not on the books.
Okay. So now, Doc, speaking about other things that you do, I've Allison, who watched your show on Pannozzo.tv, she is in a nursing home facility in Boca Raton. She cries with tears and pain of migraines. She said, I've had them so many years, and no doctor has been able to help me. Can you please explain it again so my kids who are watching with me can learn something? I'm 83 years old. God bless her. Doc, tell what you could do with migraines, please.
Well, take it away right away. No problem.
So, Allison, if your children...
All they have to do is bring her in the office where I can do my work, and then they'll leave without that headache. I'm not sure of it because I've done it before. I did the research myself. I did the anatomy, dissection myself. It is true. What I'm telling is true. If they want to bring their mother in, have her come in, we'll take care of it, and she could leave. They could even do it in an ambulance with a gurney cart. That's okay, too. Anything.
Well, for those people who wrote this, let me just say this. Freddie and I are witnesses to the two people that he is actually cured of a migraine. If you have a TV set and you have Comcast, just watch it and you will see a man who spent, I think, about $36,000, Doc, I don't remember the exact, with insurance and everything to get rid of a migraine that you got rid of.
Sure.
And never came back. It was gone. And a kid that came in, his mother was almost in tears. He was going to get divorced, a kid. He was in his 20s, and he cured him with one shot.
There's a writing about that question. They wanted to know if he's ever been in contact with you, Doc, or has he ever come back for the migraine?
No.
No. None of these people that had the migraine treatment have to come back. And they call me up later, and they say, I haven't had a migraine. Amazing. I can see those people for something else. They'll say, I haven't had a migraine since you gave me that shot 6 months ago. I mean, this is real stuff, I'm telling you.
Now, here's something. Let me see. That was a guy, Jack, from Twitter. He wrote, I watched your commercial on Pannozzo.tv and was interested in the gentleman with the migraines. Oh, I'm going, okay. Did he ever come back? That's the one. I just saw it now, Doc. No, he never came back.
It's amazing that once you take that problem out, it doesn't come back. I think that's important to know because you're not going in like an aspirin and then coming back for another shot.
Well, Doc, as I've learned watching all the patients, just so you know, folks, I'm just not talking because I have nothing else to do on a Sunday. You know, I know people that have suffered from migraines who have come in to see him, and believe me, it's amazing what he does. It's amazing. So, Colleen, if you ever have a migraine, you know who to see, don't you? Migraine's our wonderful producer who's making this show possible, as Freddie Santori from MTV, because we're concerned in what you do.
Colleen only gets a headache when she sees us.
Oh, yeah, I know. So the doc isn't here with his little bag. So, I mean, explain the procedure with a migraine, because a lot of people are taking every kind of medicine that you could think of, and it might relieve the pain then, but then they get it again 2 days later. What do you do that's so different?
First of all, the thinking, you have to understand the thinking. The neurologists and those who treat headache do not know the anatomical basis of what they're treating. Let me say that again. Unless you know the anatomical basis for that symptom, headache is a symptom.
Right.
It's a referred pain is what it is. It's not a structure. You have to know where the structure is. Okay? Now, it's a musculoskeletal pain is what it is, and I've done this for 52 years. Leah's wrong. I've been doing this for 52 years.
Oh, no, we got to do another commercial. Okay.
Oh, she's got to change that.
52 years.
Our Delray office is past 4,000 patients now.
Wow.
And we're doing gangbusters. I mean, I don't even get any rest. That's why I had to leave town.
And to tell you, I have to bring him lunch every either Tuesday or Thursday, because if I don't, he doesn't eat. I mean, you know, dedication is amazing. I mean, to be dedicated like that, where you're offering people that don't have money an opportunity to get fixed. I mean, come on. I know people that have had migraines. It's that they get so violently ill, and all they have to do is just come on in. I mean, and then wait, you even discover the kid had TMJ, which dentists are trying to treat, and they can't, and you fixed him with one needle. Or was it one?
Dentists should not treat TMJ, and Quit selling those things that go in the mouth overnight. You don't want that.
Oh, I could never.
$700
restricts motion.
$700.
$2,000 now they're charging.
Oh, jeez.
$2,000. So that's
and
the
you know what
charging.
we charge for that?
How much?
We charge $100 a shot. That's $200, and your TMJ does not come back.
Hey, and there's no guarantee that the TMJ will not come back, because the dentists say there's no guarantee, but it'll help you from.
Well, no, they make it worse.
Yeah.
When you restrict motion, you're causing scar tissue, and that makes it worse. You don't ever want to put anything in the mouth like that, or any kind of bracing at all.
Well, what you said is very true.
And you don't want motion, but just to treat any pain with a limitation of motion procedure is wrong. You don't want to do that. That's wrong.
Well, a lot of people are listening to what you said, because a lot of the bodybuilders that used to use a lot of heavy weights, they used to wear that belt. Yeah. And when they took the belt off, they started getting back pains because they didn't give a chance for, like he said, for the motion. When you're constricted with a belt, it doesn't give you a chance to move around. So if you bend your toes down, your back goes.
That's to keep the hernia from popping out of your belly.
Well,
they use them for elbows too and knees. You remember those little things you put on the patella to stop motion? I mean, the whole thing is crazy. I mean, they don't even know what they're treating.
I have those, docs. I wore that as a catcher for 18 years. I got.
You don't have to wear them anymore, buddy.
And I'm gonna tell you, that's why my legs are a mess. But I wore those.
Freddie, it's a good thing you're on there, because you actually have experience doing this.
So have I.
I'm going to tell you, it was very painful. Doctors put them on. I have metal on the sides of them. I have very expensive knee braces.
Yeah.
Now they give the knee braces to the football players. You ever seen them wearing knee braces?
Which is so ridiculous, because Dr. Pannozzo could get them on the field. You're giving a guy $60 million, he gets hurt.
No, I'm talking about college.
Yeah.
Some of the linemen, all the linemen now are wearing knee braces. They go from the knee down to the ankle with metal rods on the side.
You know, I want to say something.
There's no basis for that. I mean, that is crazy. You restrict motion. You're not going to get the best out of your players when you have that.
I'm going to say something, Dr. Pannozzo, which is almost everything. Do you remember that drink Gatorade? Gatorade was developed by Dr. Cades, C-A-D-E-S, at the University of Florida, because he wanted, and no one said, what do you mean a drink's going to help the players? Well, guess what? The drink helped the players, and now it's a $3 billion a year industry, Gatorade. So what I'm saying to you folks, if someone could help you, why don't you have the choice of coming? You come and say, what did Dr. Pannozzo say? Doc, I heard about this. I have a pain in my arm. He'll tell you where the pain is and say, you want me to get rid of it? He'll get rid of it.
Too easy, Les. You got to make it more complicated.
I guess people just want to go in for surgery. You're right. Freddie gets a belt for that one.
There's nothing wrong with simplifying things.
No, you're right.
The greatest geniuses in the world, what they did was simplify things for a normal human to understand.
Mm-hmm.
That's what genius is. There's a simplification of a complicated issue.
Right.
So they learn how to use it. They learn what makes it tick, and then they can interpret it for the rest of us, so we can understand it.
You know, it's like a watch.
So this is what we did with all of these things. When you're not taught in medical school how to take care of a shoulder, I don't know. You know, it's an abuse of power, so to speak. You have the power to teach, and you don't. So all the shoulders go to what? They go to chiropractors who are not trained in it, and you go to physical therapists who are not trained in it, and then they're all failures, so you go to surgery, right?
Oh, exactly.
The 1, 2, 3 thing. You don't want that.
Well, you know, one of the things that Dr. EDS, I'm going to give you something, folks. I want you to read it. I want you to go to the internet yourself. Go to EDZARERNST.com. And one of the 15 things that he says about chiropractic, it's not me, and it's not Dr. Pannozzo, and it's not Freddie. I gave you a way to look at it. And basically he says a problem with chiropractors is they have very little knowledge of how the body really works, and they have no background in giving the correct diagnosis. This is not me. This is an expert. And again, I'm going to repeat that number so you can go for yourself. EDZARERNST.com. And
well, I go one step further, Les. They don't have the means of treating.
Correct.
Now, if you have an inflammation in there, how are you going to treat it by manipulation or anything else? You got to put a steroid in there.
Well, guess what,
That's what does the work. That's how we get a shoulder treatment in one day.
Well, just what
you know where to do it.
Well,
and
I mean, I don't want you to get upset, but you said exactly what this doctor says. He says crack of the spine doesn't mean much and can cause more serious problems. And he says if you have a child who has scoliosis or any of those problems, do not go to a chiropractor. Now, we've seen people that have scoliosis that have gone to you and have been cured. And so I don't know what else to tell you people. And we'll keep doing this show until we get people in that get cured. Well, we know that we're getting in a whole bunch of people every week from the doctor that have seen the show.
Well, what you're looking at is you have a choice. Today's key word is choice.
Choice, correct.
You either choose to drink the Kool-Aid or you don't.
Yeah.
And if you don't, and you want to go spend 10 times more money on something that isn't going to work, isn't going to make it better. And history is on the side to show the pain with people that have had hip surgery, knee surgeries, and everything else. History will show that the pain does return or is there during rehab. So pick your poison. I mean, I don't know what else to do.
Well, we had someone from the station who I told about Dr. Pannozzo. He had 2 knees that were shot. He went in for surgery on one, okay? And the second one, I brought him in. I said, yeah, what do you got to lose? Dr. Pannozzo gave him, I think, was it 2 shots right on each side? I don't remember. And guess what? His doctor said, I don't know what happened, but everything's fine. He said, well, why?
You don't know what happened.
He doesn't know what happened.
And that doctor has a million patients.
Oh, yeah.
The whack job.
Yeah. And couldn't explain why his knee is better now and the other one he doesn't have to operate on, and he's still getting paid for the one he's operated on. So, I mean, does that ring a bell to anybody out there?
Well, I have a challenge.
Go ahead.
I think we should have Les go in and have one knee replaced by an orthopedic.
I have no problem with my knees.
And, well, hold on a second. They operate anyway. And then the other knee, Dr. Pannozzo repairs. That's his thing. And we'll see which knee feels better.
Well, I had pain in my groin. I went to him. He gave me one shot.
Yeah, but you only have one groin. You don't have 2 groins.
Well, Doc, tell me what you...
Look, let me explain to you why people get their knees operated.
Go ahead.
It's a failure to treat a pain.
Okay.
If you ask people, why did you get your knee operated, they'll say the pain was tremendous and I have bone on bone. In other words, they have a pain. The reason is it's bone on bone. That doesn't mean anything.
Right.
The bone on bone, if it even exists, is only about a 2 or 3 inch area on the periphery of the knee. So they're throwing a whole normal knee away for a 3-inch scar tissue. That's what they're doing. That's the reality of it.
Well,
when we come along, we mobilize the scar tissue and save the whole knee. And it's done in 4 or 5 treatments. It takes 4 or 5 weeks, once a week.
Right.
And it works. There's no problem with that. We do it every day of the week.
And they scare the patient, Doc. They'll say you got water on the knee because the knee is swollen.
Well, let me say this, Freddie and Doc. The number went up in JAMA, Journal of American Medical Association. It's 106,000 knee surgeries that are performed that should not have been performed. That's not me, folks. Well, it was 96, and now it went up to 106.
But this year?
This year alone. No, I apologize. 2014 up to where we are right now. Not this year. This year
it was a lot more than that.
Well, it was 96.
Well, anyway, I've given you the reason behind those statistics. Most
okay.
of those, I don't, and I've told Medicare this. I said no knee should be operated ever. There's a treatment for anything that can happen to the knee.
Wow, it's amazing. I mean, in Medicare,
if they would do that, they would save probably $50 billion a year just on that.
Oh yeah, my God! Because I mean, this country would be in better shape if we could get the medical bills down for people going in for surgery.
But the thing is, the therapists get to treat the knees, and they don't know how, and they don't ask for help either. You can't control these people, and so they work with the surgeons a lot because it's a referral source, you know, and that's how that works. So if you go to a surgeon, he's going to put a shot inside your knee, which I don't think is beneficial.
Right. Right.
The problem is outside the knee, not inside. And then you go through therapy, and they put you in lifting weights with your knee, and that makes it worse. And you're running back to get, I can't walk, I need surgery. And that's what happens. One-to-one, just like I'm telling you. So the people should be empowered to kind of see into this and cut it short. I mean, don't go for therapy for 4 weeks and get worse. Go for 1 to 2 days. If you're not improving, then don't go. And I tell people that in my office too. If you don't get better in the first 1 or 2 days, you're in the wrong place.
Well, you know what? You were 100% right, because that doctor that I've been talking to you about said exactly the same thing you said. If you cannot be cured totally by going to a physician in 3 visits, then you're never going to be cured and find somebody else. He said the same thing.
Yeah.
And you don't even have the report that I have. I mean, I'm telling you, I do a lot of research to find stuff. We have someone from LinkedIn who says, I play lacrosse 4 times a week and ran into your show by a friend of mine who treated his knees. He posted your show, and I saw how you work with someone who had knee pain and found the pain to be caused by the lower back. What kind of procedure would you do to find my pain in my knee as well as my lower back?
Well, it's just a standard examination that we do for everybody.
Right.
And remember, the knee is a object that bears weight, and it's placed there by the hip. So this is your hip connection to the knee. The knee does not work by itself.
Right.
It works secondarily to something else, the knee, the hip. And so if you have a bad hip, you're going to have a bad knee also because of the weight-bearing issue. You cannot abuse the knee forever. It's going to be painful. But if you know how it works, the physiology of it, it doesn't throw you. You can always treat all that. We treat the hip, and then we treat the knee. Everything comes out good.
Well, I got one for you, Doc, which I want everyone to hear this one. Scott from Tumblr writes, I am a former client of Dr. Pannozzo, and I see you read emails sent to you. First, I want to say thank you, Dr. Pannozzo, for helping me with a bad knee, which came from my hip. And second, my sister suffers from scoliosis, and I've shown her your film and website of how you work with someone from England. She's afraid that her case is so severe that it would take a miracle to help her. She will be watching your next show, which is saying, can you touch on how you work your magic to cure people of this horrible disease? Wow. Thank you, Scott, for, calling it.
Well, there is no condition that's not treatable.
Okay.
I mean, this is self-serving thought. If somebody offers you something, take it. I mean, what do we got to do with you? I mean, steal you and do it under duress? No, you make a choice, look into it, do a positive thing. It will improve. You can't wipe the whole thing out in one day, but you can improve it. Improve it one day, yes.
But this guy said exactly what Freddie's been saying all the time. He is a patient that has gotten rid of knee pain forever without going in for surgery, and he's trying to convince his sister who has scoliosis. I mean, what else does it take?
I don't know. I don't know. People got to look into this and make a choice and try it out. You don't know what's on the other side of the street until you cross that street.
You're right. Choice. I mean, people have the choice.
That's why the chicken went across the street. He wanted to know what was over.
No, he wanted to know what was on the other side. Now, what came first, the chicken or the egg? I mean, that's another thing.
Well, I don't know the I don't know the answer to that, but
Paul wants to add into our conversation.
Go ahead, Paul.
This is my number one son, the only son I have.
Number one son,
only one you have. That makes him number one extra.
He does more sophisticated work than I do, even.
Really? Okay, so let's hear what the two geniuses have to say. It's always good, the young one and the elder statesman. We're ready for you, Paul. Hello, Paul. Where'd he go, Doc?
All right, he's right here.
Okay.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, Paul, how's it feel to have Dad with you today, huh?
Yeah, right. Hey, I wanted to add something.
Go ahead.
That, about the topic that, that there's a common phrase that I kind of feel is oversold, and that's the bone-on-bone phrase. It kind of gets a message across, and people can understand it, but not necessarily always, that bad. It sounds like, hey, there's no cartilage there, and there's no real hope. But we see, this bit in Arizona in the wintertime, we see people coming from all over to get out of the cold, and they say, hey, I've been told my knee is bone on bone, but we look at it and we don't necessarily see that. So we think the phrase is kind of overutilized, and you can do a lot of good still with these with people that have knee problems, and the hip is something that totally does need to be addressed, evaluated with a knee pain. Absolutely, 100% true, and sometimes that does get overlooked. when people only have a few minutes to be with the physician or the physician assistant, in today's offices, a couple minutes they look at the knee, look at the X-ray, but sometimes the more comprehensive kind of eval, might not be happening,
So Paul, let's see if I got your number is 480-229-1144. Is that correct?
Well, for the office, it's 623-776-8686.
Okay. So, anyone in the Arizona area around, or, you could always call the other Dr. Pannozzo. So you have two choices.
West of the Mississippi.
I'm sorry?
West of the Mississippi.
West of the Mississippi. Hey, Doc, between the two of you guys,
west of the Continental Divide. There you go.
Yeah. West. So you must see a lot of people that might have skiing injuries that come to you when it gets warm to see if they could go on the ski slope. So if somebody really has a problem with their knee and they get hurt skiing, you could fix that and they could go back skiing probably in a couple of days?
Yeah, well, we see people from, usually it's tennis and golf, out here, they come here to get out of the cold.
Yeah.
So it's tennis and golf knee injuries here, but it's all the same. It's still a knee.
Wait, hold on. I might have a golf. Yeah, I got a golf question. This guy's got a nice name. Lester from It's Time for Golf writes, saw your shows on our Clubhouse newsletter and wanted to ask, how can we get more distance? If I've had a hip replacement and the pain continues, I can't drive like I used to and was told that the hip takes time to settle. It takes about a year. Can you help me?
Is that true, first of all?
Yeah, is it true? I mean, these people write in instead of calling. Is that true?
What was the question?
The question was, he saw the show, and he said he had a hip replacement. The pain still continues, and he can't drive the ball like he used to be able to drive the ball, and he wants to know, could you help him?
Absolutely. What he's suffering from now is scar tissue from the surgery.
Mm-hmm.
The surgeons do an excellent job of placing that cup in there. It's done by computer, I believe, and special rooms are built for that. Now, they do a good job of placing it.
Right.
Problem is the limb the same length as the other one? And then is scar tissue around the repair causing a pain? And usually it is. Usually it's right alongside the incision.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of pain there, and you need the mobility there to hit that ball. If you're right-handed, when you follow through, that hip has to stretch out.
Right.
It has to move, and if it doesn't, it's going to restrict your range that you can get with that ball. So it's we can help them with that.
So you get up to, let me use the word, up to 40 yards, and even if you get 20 yards. That's a lot from the drive. I mean, am I correct, guys? I mean, you play golf. Does Paul, you play golf?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so know, as a golfer.
Treat this stuff. I went to Florida to begin with to find out what problems the golfers have.
Mm-hmm.
That was after I retired the first time.
And then you realized that you're needed out there in the field to help people.
Yeah, and we worked with Bob Toski, who was well known years ago for his teaching.
Mm-hmm.
of the golfers. So I held around with him for a while, and we learned a lot, and now we can help the golfers get their swing back to normal, not to change it, but to get it back to normal.
Well, I can see by the lovely Colleen that we only have about 3 minutes to go, so I'm going to give out everyone's number. Paul, you give out your number twice in Arizona so people could call you when they're up there.
623-776-8686.
And, Doc, you can give out your number and I'll follow it. If people want to call you on the phone, it's 561-381-5800. I'm sure, folks, I guarantee that if you go see Dr. Pannozzo, you will be cured of all the pain and it won't come back again. Any parting words, Doc, before we disconnect?
I'll have a toast with Mountain Dew to good health for everybody listening, and I know you'll get it. Just make the right step for you.
And you're going to be coming back to South Florida when, Doc? What do you mean never? Hold it. What is that?
April 4th, I believe.
April 4th. Have a lot of fun out there with your family. Paul, it's always good to talk to you, and I guess we'll talk to you again next week. Everybody, have a good Sunday. And again, 561-381-5800. Colleen, thank you so much. Linda, thank you.
Thanks, gang.
And we'll see you and talk to you next week. Take care, my friend.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
This has been the Dr. Pannozzo Sports and Medicine Hour with Dr. Anthony Pannozzo. If you spend 5 minutes with Dr. Pannozzo, you'll see he genuinely enjoys helping others. Visit Dr. Pannozzo online at www.paincentersnation.com.
I'm Dave Anthony. Choice words for Iran.